We are going to start looking at some real world application problems of percents with first, for this lesson, tax and tip. Okay. I'm going to be solving them all using a proportion. There are different ways to solve using a percent equation. If you know how to do that when you're getting to the practice, you are welcome to do that. But for the notes here, I want you showing it with the proportion. So, sales tax. Something you've probably seen or encountered before. It's an additional amount of money charged on items that people buy. A percentage of an amount purchased that is added on to the decimal amount. So, big part there is that it is added on. So we are adding it to the original amount, okay? Total cost of an item is the regular price plus the sales tax. And if we're thinking about it in our proportion, sales tax is the part. So let's look at an example here. Selma purchased a TV for $99 and had a sales tax rate of 7%. How much money did she spend? So first, we're gonna figure out what is 7% of $99. Remember, our general proportion for a percent proportion is the part over the whole equals the percent out of 100. So, this is always 100. First thing I'm plugging in is my percent, which is 7%. 99 is that whole amount of the TV. What is the part? So when we're solving, I'm going to multiply the two numbers in the same diagonal. So I am multiplying 99 times 7, which is 693. And I'm dividing by the number in the same diagonal as the variable. So dividing by 100 is 6.93. So the tax that is being added is $6.93. So when we're looking at our total amount spent, we're paying $99 for the TV, plus we are adding in $6.93 for the tax, which is going to give us $105.93 for our total amount. Okay, let's look at a tip scenario. Tip is an additional amount of money charged on items that people buy. So it's a percentage of the amount purchased, again, that is added to the original amount. This part is really important. Put a star next to it, circle it, highlight it, whatever you need to do. This is where people make mistakes. So the total cost of an item is the regular price plus the tip. And this next part, highlighting this whole thing, this has to do with it being on the original amount. It is calculated as a percentage on the pre-tax amount, okay? And it's the part, just like it was before. So what is important is you're not tipping tax. You're tipping the amount that you are paying for something. So it's on that original amount, not after tax. That is where people make mistakes. I'm saying it now, people will do it again. So please pay close attention to that. Let's look at this scenario. Susan gave 15% tip to the waiter. Her meal cost $12.50. How much tip did the waiter receive? So right now, this is just a basic scenario. We're not even looking at tax yet. We'll look at some multi-step problems in a minute. We are just looking at basic, given a meal, what is 15% of that? So I'm setting up my percent proportion. My percent goes over 100. Her meal is the whole, which goes on the bottom left. We are solving for what is 15% of that price. So again, when we solve, we multiply the two numbers in the same diagonal. So we're doing $12.50 times 15, which gives us $187 0.5. Since it's money, that's really 50, right? Sorry, not yet. Dividing this by 100, because that's the number in the same diagonal as the variable. So this gives us, 1.875, okay? If we're actually calculating that, we're not gonna say it was 1.875, $1.875. We would round. So I'm gonna write this as $1.88. So our last step, we're adding our tip to the original amount. So her meal was $12.50 plus $1.88 in tip. When you add that together, you get $14.38 for the meal plus tip. So that's just a general idea of what tax and tip are. Let's look at some multi-step problems with tax and tip combined. So in order to do a multi-step problem involving tax and tip, you must always go back to the original amount. This is where I'm saying people make mistakes. Find the tax using the total. Find the tip using the total. So they're both on that original amount. Then we add them together. I cannot reiterate enough. It's on the original amount. Tip is not calculated on the tax amount. The total cost of an item should be the regular price plus sales tax and tip. All right, so this example, you ate at your favorite restaurant with your friend. Your bill before tax was $35.60. So that's our original amount. You decided you were going to leave the waitress a 20% tip, and the tax percentage for this area is 7.25%. Find the total cost of your bill after this, including the tax and the tip. So let's find the tip on that original amount, or you could have done tax first. Either one is fine. So if I find the tip, we're setting up our proportion, 20% for the tip out of a percent of 100. The total amount for the bill was $35.60. We are solving for that amount. I'm going to multiply the two numbers in the same diagonal. So I'm going to multiply $35.60 times 20, which is 712. Then we're going to divide that by 100. And we get 7.12, $7.12 for the tip. Now, when we are finding the tax, I'm not adding on this tip to the original amount. I'm still doing it based on the $35.60. So I'm setting up my proportion. The tax amount is 7.25, so the percentage goes over 100. Our original amount is still $35.60. Let's solve for what the tax of that would be. I'm multiplying the two numbers in the diagonal. So I'm multiplying $35.60 times 7.25, which equals 258.1. Dividing that by 100, we get 2.581. Again, we're talking about money, so I'm just going to write that as 258 by rounding. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take this tip, we are going to take this tax, and we're going to take the original amount and add them all together. So $35.60 plus 712 plus 258, which gives us $45.3. As money, I need to add a zero, so it makes sense. $45.30 for the meal when you factor in tax and tip. Let's look at two more multi-step problem examples. All right, Geraldo went to eat at Bob's Burger Joint with his family. The cost of all their meals totaled $105. If the tax rate is 8% and he left an 18% tip, how much total money did he spend? Let's calculate the tax first. Setting up my proportion. The tax percentage is 8. The total amount of the bill is 105. Let's solve for the tax. I'm going to multiply the two numbers in the diagonal. So I am multiplying 105 times 8, which is 840. Divide that by 100, and we get 8.4, or $8.40 for the tax. When we are doing the tip, I am not adding that tax to the original amount. It's still out of the $105. So let's calculate our tip. Set up another blank proportion. Keep the original amount as our whole. The percent for tip is 18. We are solving for what that would be. I'm going to multiply the two numbers in the same diagonal. So 105 times 18 is 1890. Divide by 100 gives us $18.90. So that is our tip. Now for our total, we are adding these all together. 105 for the meal, 840 for the tax, 1890 for the tip, gives us a total of 132.3, which as money would be $132.30. All right, let's look at one more. The Hurd family went to dinner at Consols. Mr. Hurd ordered a meal for $6.25. Mrs. Hurd ordered a meal for $7.50. And the two children ordered individual pizzas for $4.99 each. So first we need to figure out what our bill is. We've got $6.25 for Mr. Hurd. We've got $7.50 for Mrs. Hurd. And we have $4.99 for each of the kids, which is going to give us a total pre-tax and tip meal cost of $23.73. Now let's start calculating. It says the sales tax was $7.25. They left a 15% tip. What is the total bill? So setting up for tax right now, our proportion, the tax percentage is 7.25. The original amount is what we just calculated, $23.73. I'm going to look at my diagonal to multiply. $23.73 times 7.25, which equals a long decimal, 172.0425. I'm going to divide that by 100, and I get, when I round, $1.72 for my tip, or tax, sorry. Now let's calculate the tip. Set up our proportion. The percentage for tip in this problem is 15. The original amount we're still using is $23.73. I'm going to multiply those diagonals, so $23.73 times 15, which equals $355.95. And dividing that by 100 and you get 3, when I round, 0.56. So our total bill is the original amount, which was $23.73, plus our tip was $1.72, plus, sorry, our tax was $1.72, plus our tip was $3.56. So when I add that all together, I get $29.01 for our total bill.